Welcome into Colts Talk presented by Prize Picks. Be sure to use code HMA. You'll get $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. Everything you need in the link and comment section. The link is in the comment section and description down below for you guys to check out there. Today on the show, we're going to go through depth chart changes. We've gone through OTAs. We've gone through minicamp. We have seen some things, learned some things, and that's why I want to make a few changes to the Colts depth charts that we present here on the show. Again, it's not like Shane Steichen hit the podium and told us that these changes have been made, but from what we've gathered, I feel like these changes are warranted. And of course, we'll ask you guys your opinion, and you can debate or leave your opinion in the comment section down below. It begins as what? I got to ask producer, the last 5 shows have begun with Ashton Dulin. The wide receiver is unstoppable right now for the Colts. He enters year 8 of his NFL career. Whether it is OTAs, whether it is minicamp, Dulin has showed up and showed out. The question is he a starter at this point in time? It's funny because we did a depth chart video with PFF 2 weeks ago. They had Dulin as a starter. Boy, did I get educated after, because I said this just doesn't seem right. I haven't heard enough about Dulin actually starting, playing that role. He's been more of a special teamer, so on and so forth. But now, after everything we've seen, after everything Dulin has showed in voluntary OTAs and minicamp, kind of feel like a change might be warranted. First things first, if you were one of those people pounding the table, saying, Beebe, come on, you don't know Dulin, you don't know this about Dulin, you got to remember this about Dulin, let me know. If you're an Ashton Dulin fan, like the video right now to let us know how you feel about him. I'm putting him as a starter. It's time, right? He has earned this. That spot is open. I know we've had like a debate about, like, what is it called? Wide receiver 3, counting the slot, wide receiver 2, whatever. Opposite Alec Pierce at this point in time, I believe, is Ashton Dulin. I do. Put Dulin in that starting spot. Westbrook-Ikhine is next up at wide receiver, whether it be behind Pierce or, again, battling Dulin, battling with Burks, battling with Treadwell. Those guys all going at it. It's an interesting 1, 2, 3 there. Pierce, who's still getting healthy, by the way. Dulin, who's won this job. And then Josh Downs, who's in a contract here. There's a chance these 3 go crazy. There's a chance this thing is a little bit of a disaster and a step down from last season. I mean, Dulin has earned it, though, right? 7 years in the NFL so far, going into his 8th. Undrafted free agent, special teams, both returner and gunner and just playmaker on special teams. Then he's had these years in Indianapolis where the guy pops on the field, right? His touchdowns are long, or his catches are long. His catches are for touchdowns. Then he's had other times where it's like just a few catches, but a lot of yards. Then it's a lot of catches, but not so many yards. He has truly had an up and down battle for it career here in Indianapolis, and I think that is such an interesting part of all this. I think his story is really cool. I have him as a starter as of right now. That doesn't mean the Colts have him logged in as a starter. In fact, we got the report Sunday that the Colts are considering adding a free agent wide receiver. Yes, that's right. The Colts kind of looking at possibly adding Stephen Holder reporting over the weekend that the Colts considering adding a free agent wide receiver, and we talked about this. Keenan Allen and Deebo Samuel are the names that he put down, and listed as potential veteran additions for the Indianapolis Colts. And we've talked Deebo. We've done our due diligence on Deebo. Keenan Allen's another guy who I've kind of talked about, was like, I don't think we're done yet there. And then in general, though, the veteran edition is going to remain there. But as I said, Dulin has well earned the job for Indianapolis with what he's done in time on the roster, right? Whether it is OTAs, whether it is minicamp, as things stand, Dulin should be a starter for the Colts. That's why I moved him up on the depth chart. We'll keep an eye on the free agent situation with the Colts. They're clearly still looking, but we'll talk about that more later. But first, reminding you guys that today's show is presented by SeatGeek. And I know there's a lot of excitement around the Colts right now. More and more excitement growing. Everyone is pumped to watch football in person again. That's why we want to give the sponsor of today's video, SeatGeek, a shout out. The MLB is in full swing. Football is getting closer and closer. Oh, and by the way, you also can now get World Cup tickets on SeatGeek. That's right. And I love using the app. It's always the app I recommend to my friends when we talk about going to any game, especially during the Colts season. We'll be sharing the links and making sure we all have the app and getting the discounts, which we'll talk about later. Here, I've got one for you. SeatGeek also has your back when you're looking on the app. Each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know you're getting a good deal. You look for the green dots, green means good. You look for the red dots, red means bad. And, of course, as I said, I've got a code for you guys today. Whether you are new or an existing user, that's right, you can use code CHAT10 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with promo code CHAT10. Just make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. That's right. Go to the comment section, go to the description. We've got the link there for you. Thanks, SeatGeek. We move from Dulin to quarterback 2, and it is time for a change at the quarterback 2 quarterback depth chart, however you want to put it, for the Colts in general. We entered minicamp, really, I think, with Anthony Richardson feeling like he'd be the backup for the Colts. Shane Steichen has declared it dead even at this point in time, but I think there needs to be a change at that point in the depth chart from what we've learned, from what we've seen. My question before we really dig into it, though, for you guys, is it too early to name a backup quarterback for the Colts? If you think so, you can type Y for yes, take it easy, too soon. Or if you think N for no, you've seen enough, you want to name it, be sure to do that in the comment section below. Now, here's my change. Riley Leonard as quarterback 2 for the Indianapolis Colts at this point in time. And again, this is why we went at the beginning, and I said nothing's set in stone, nothing's been declared by the coach. Like, just from the information we gathered here, at least it's even, at the least, because Shane Steichen did say that. However, from the vibes I've gotten, from the vibes we've seen, I think Riley Leonard is in a good position to be quarterback 2 for the Indianapolis Colts. I know there's some fan love from what he did last season at different points in time. Definitely seems like the coaches have a little bit more of interest and, appreciation or love, whatever you want to call it. I feel like the coach staff likes Riley Leonard at this point a little more. Now, for Anthony Richardson, obviously a disaster 2025. You've still got the trade request out there with the Colts in general. And again, every time I've heard Shane Steichen talk about Anthony Richardson, it's just not positive. It's just not a, I want to help this guy turn his career around. I want to help. I know he's, he's going to help us at some point. I know he's going to help us, so on and so forth. Just feels like, there is no real love for Anthony Richardson at this point in time. And the Colts in general have left us on a cliffhanger in the offseason. Next up is training camp, right? We're about a month-ish, over a month away from that. And, if this were a teen drama, it would kind of be like, oh, yeah, the girl loves both boys. And then the episode ends, right, at this point in time. We got, hey, it's dead even race. It's 50-50. They're splitting reps. Shane Steichen walked away. That was the end of minicamp at that point in time. So, look, the answer may come in training camp. That feels like it should, maybe. I guess if you really think about training camp too, there's no reason for Steichen to say that this guy's the backup or that guy's a backup at that point in time. Feels like the preseason. That's when you're going to have to learn, because Steichen's going to have to play one guy more or in different situations at that point in time. And again, that's all banking on Anthony Richardson being here, right? It still floats around like dude has not gotten rid of his trade request with the Colts in general. I do feel like Anthony Richardson's kind of fading fast. As I said, felt like he was quarterback 2 going into minicamp. Then it's even. Then we leave minicamp just really not having much positivity about Anthony Richardson. That's why I moved Riley Leonard to quarterback 2 at this point in time. Let's go to the kicking competition. And look, truly, health is wealth. The health of Blake Grupe compared to Spencer Shrader has given Grupe, no pun intended, a leg up in the kicking competition at this point in time. We've actually gotten some solid reporting from Colts minicamp and OTAs about the kicking situation. Shrader, again, missing a little bit here. Not the biggest deal in the world, but again, this is there's no pressure on you. There's no one in your grill. There's no one in your face. You're just kicking. With Grupe, it was noted hit all 5, was moving farther, and farther, and still knocking them down at this point in time. I know some believes it's Shrader's job as of right now to lose, and you got to take a look at it. I stand firm that this is a situation where both kickers are very good and both kickers are going to get an even shot to win this competition. We broke down for you how this competition would go, right? Because we heard from the special teams coach of the Colts that it would be, weighted situations, practice situations, preseason, going through all these different situations in general. And at this point in time, though, I still believe, whether it's been what we've seen or what we know about Blake Grupe, he is the Colts starting kicker at this point in time. Now, there's a little more to break down with that, but first, today's show also presented by Prize Picks. And before we continue with today's show, I have to show you guys a lineup I was following last night on Prize Picks. A lot of excitement for the UFC fights, right? And we had this lineup here. You pick two names, pick two stats, and then you lock in your lineup. Sean O'Malley, we went more on his round one significant strikes. It was at 24.5. He ended up with 14. Actually ended up going for more strikes later rather than early, so that one didn't work out. Topuria, we went more on half knockdowns, right? That's what we went for. We got that one, so we were 1 for 2 overall on our lineups here on Prize Picks. Good example of the type of lineups we put on the show that you can copy and or how the lineups work in general, which, by the way, don't forget, you can follow me and producer Aiden Parise on the Prize Picks app. Tail or fade our picks and get the picks before they even get posted on the show. That's at Billy_Beebe or at CSAP. Plus, with our new user offer that we've got for you guys, if you download the Prize Picks app today with the link in the comment section and description, then use code HMA, you'll get $50 in lineups. All you have to do, play your first $5 lineup. Again, code HMA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Kind of funny because, similar storyline with these two kickers last season, just kicker 2 off between the two over 5 games. And Blake Grupe had struggled in New Orleans, got to Indy, and just went off. The Colts were kind of literally forced to bring him back and re-sign him as an option. Shrader had 2 major injuries to his kicking leg. That's where we're at this point in time. For Blake Grupe, he's just spending the offseason getting better, spending the offseason kicking more. For Spencer Shrader, we've gotten updates like, this time they put air in the ball. Like, now he's starting to use his full leg. Like, it's tough. It's got to be very difficult to be that injured and trying to kick. And again, with his kicking leg in general. It's no surprise, Shrader shaking off the rust, trying to get healthy, right? We're getting the updates that we gave you guys in this situation when we talked about, again, the weighted kicks and the strength and conditioning coach saying, Shrader's getting there, but again, update is not doing the full kicking stuff. And then we get the updates that we had there where Shrader's still missing just a little bit in these easy situations. For Grupe, fully healthy, building, getting better, feels like his job to lose at this point in time. Has to be the starter in the Colts' minds. They have to, at this point in time, kind of feel like it's Grupe's job. And if Shrader can get healthy enough and beat him, great. But if not, again, I've told you guys before, it's kind of a win-win. You have 2 good kickers here. I feel like in either way you come out of it, these guys are pretty good. So as we end the show, I do want to ask you guys to pick a kicker. With everything you've known and learned in today's show, who you got for Blake Grupe type B, for Spencer Shrader type S?